Hello, I'm Nicholas Shaw, the music director at St. Anthony Catholic Church in Tigard, Oregon, and today we're going to be talking about Communion Antiphons. I'm going to read a quick excerpt from the general instruction of the Roman Missal. That's basically the instructions for Mass. The communion song's purpose is to express the communicants' union in spirit by means of the unity of their voices, to show joy of heart, and to highlight more clearly the communitarian nature of the procession to receive communion. So when we sing a communion song, its primary purpose is to express that unity and that joy. So as we enter into this new liturgical season, we have some new communion chants, but if you don't know them, then we can't sing them together. So this little video is going to help you learn them, and you'll see me on the piano and my wife singing, Joelle. So I hope these help out. Thanks so much. Stay tuned after the music. I'll give a little explanation on what a communion antiphon is.
I believed in God, the Lord
So, I hope you enjoyed those Communion Antiphons, and here's a little history and explanation of what they are. So before Jesus came, the Jews lived in community, they prayed in community, and their songbook, their hymn book was the Psalms. And when Christ came around, he sang those psalms, he prayed those psalms in his communities. So it would make sense that as the church began, they would take those same psalms and sing them together as a community. Our earliest recollection, at least written down, of using psalms for time of communion during the Mass is from these two fellows here, St. Augustine and St. Cyril. And in their writings, they talk about singing psalms and chants during communion. Over the centuries, the church began to solidify these psalms and these antiphons that went with the readings for the Sunday Masses. In the 9th century, these psalms and chants were somewhat codified into a certain musical style known as Gregorian chant, and that was spread all the way across Europe. And many of you are probably familiar with music that looks like this. Here's the Gregorian chant. And they were put into this book called the Roman Gradual. And it wasn't actually until 1908 that that gradual was codified, but I've seen a Roman gradual, absolutely beautiful, from the 17th century. It was about this thick, filled with Roman chant that the people and the communities would together and sing. In about 50 years ago, 51 years ago now, Vatican II happened. Here's a lovely picture of Vatican II. And all the bishops and the cardinals came from all over the world together, and they translated the text of the Mass, that's the Roman Missal. They translated the readings of the Mass, that's a Roman lectionary. And the third book, the hymnal, again we go back to the Roman Gradual of the Mass, they translated some of the text, but how do you translate music? You have the notes, but to translate the poetry, it never comes across the same way. And since Vatican II, the Church has been figuring out what to do with these communion antiphons, these antiphons, the different prayers and songs that came out of the Roman Gradual. So that's where my wife and I came together, and we decided to write some antiphons for the different seasons of the liturgical year. And being that they're supposed to be songs sung together, prayed together as a community when we receive communion, we decided to take a few melodies, make them singable, and then spread them out throughout the season. The goal of this is to make it easier for us to learn it, easier for us to sing it, and most importantly, easy for us to pray it. I hope this has helped you out in learning more about communion antiphons, and most importantly, help you pray them as we enter into this liturgical season. Thank you so much, and God bless.